Welcome to this screencast on To Build a Fire by Jack London. First, let's examine some of the themes behind To Build a Fire. First, let's look at instinct versus intellect. In this story, the man has the intellect, but yet fails to use that intellect to survive, whereas the dog must rely on instinct alone and in turn survives the ordeal. Without going into a whole lot of backstory, stories of this time are really getting into what's more important, instinct, intellect, and how important is intellect, or our ability to think and reason, and how important is our ability simply to react to a situation. And this is one of the things that this story examines, and in this case, instinct is going to win out over intellect. Another theme I'd like you to look at is the indifferent environment. Stories at this time are starting to look at the environment and how man interacts with the environment. In this case, when we say an indifferent environment, the environment just is. It's cold, it's the Yukon territory, it's 50 degrees below zero. All that would still be there whether or not the man existed. And the conflict in the story results from how the man interacts with this environment that just is. It doesn't matter to him whether he's cold, whether he's hungry, whether he's wet. The environment is what it is, and the man is going to have to adapt to it. Next, let's look at imagery. Imagery consists of words or phrases that appeal to one of the five senses. So we're looking at sight, sound, taste, touch, sight, one of them. Most of the time they're going to appeal to the sense of sight, but not always. Visualizing is forming a mental picture from a written description. And in this case, imagery would be appealing to the sense of sight. And this is, like I say, the most common type of imagery that's used in literature, because when you're reading, you're forming a mental picture. So most of the time the author is going to try to make your mind live within the situation. I'd also like you to look at omniscient narrator. Now, in some of the other stories, we've looked at an unreliable narrator. An omniscient narrator knows everything about everyone and everything in the story. This also tends to be the most reliable of the narrators you're going to see as you study stories. And based on the style of the writer, you could know a lot about what's going on with the characters. You can know a little bit about what's going on in the characters. And in this story, Jack London chooses to tell us more about the environment. He tells us very little about what's going on in the head of the man in the story. And so you not only have an indifferent environment, you also kind of have an indifferent narrator, because the narrator is simply telling you the facts, what's happening, what's going on. Okay, now for your assignments, read pages 517 to 534 of your text. Be sure to study the Quizlet link to study your vocabulary for this unit. Complete the assignment packet and any other assignments that you may be assigned. Thank you.